What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Daily Macro Update for Wednesday, November 26th. Taking a look at the market conditions for today, we are simply in a continuation of the low volume bounce heading into this low volume holiday week. And what seems to be happening is that we're entering into a new go phase, which what my team and I like to picture this no landing stop go cycle since 2023. With this graphic here, you can see that as soon as we got some lower inflation expectations, which is what's been going on since Friday, then the next phase is to, well, on that condition, you want to buy some on that fear if something's in bullish trend and at the low end of the trading range. But now we are going into a go phase, which is where typically you have a more dovish Fed. You have increased rate cut expectations. Stocks have a bounce and have a higher probability of continuing a rally. And you also get a soft landing optimism come back into the narrative. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And the market has been doing this continuous cycle, this no landing stop go cycle since 2023. And within that time frame, you have the market continuing higher, and it'll keep grinding higher as it goes through this no landing stop go cycle, because what it's going to assume is that the Fed as well as the government is going to be successful with achieving a soft landing. And so as we go into this go cycle and we have a decent acceleration in prices, what you want to be looking for next is higher inflation expectations, because that's when you want to take some off the table or sell some. And then from there, historically, over the past couple of years, it then goes into the stop phase, which is really what we just came out of. So we're just constantly going through this cycle. And in that, you have to take advantage of the different opportunities when they arise. And so now that doesn't mean you just buy everything. Obviously, things that have broken trend, you don't want to, things that have broken trend are no longer in this buy some category. An example of this would be something like Bitcoin. That completely broke its bullish trend and went into a bearish trend. And so that something like that gets completely taken out of consideration when we are buying some once we receive those lower inflation expectations. I hope that makes sense. And so, we received the beige book from the Fed today, and they had some different verbiage regarding the labor market, saying that it is way more weak than the previous beige book. And in that, the rate cut expectations have risen. And so when taking a look at the target rate probabilities for the December 10th meeting, that has risen. The probabilities of a 25 basis point cut have risen to an 85% chance of happening, which is the largest that it's been for a month. And then, of course, on the opposite side of that, you have the percentage chance of a continued pause at 15%, which again is a pretty aggressive change from just 1 week ago when it was nearly the opposite. It was like a 70-30 split just 1 week ago. So pretty dramatic change going from inflation concerns into labor market concerns. All right, so that is really what we're seeing there. And when taking a look at some of the macro data for today, we received some decent information. The United States Chicago PMI reached its lowest level since June or May of 2024. Historically, looking at this, this is near the lowest level that it's been since the pandemic. And, we continue to get these private as well as government data suggesting that growth isn't nearly as strong as what is expected, as well as you're starting to see inflation, or early indicators suggest that inflation is going to come down. And that's part of the reason why Bitcoin hasn't been doing well, because liquidity is tight and it's in an environment where growth and inflation are coming down at the same time. And so as of right now, the equity market is looking at this like, yay, rate cuts. But if it starts to deteriorate even faster, then that might be a environment where we could see this stop go cycle be broken, because at some point this will end with a hard landing that will take us out of this no landing stop go cycle. But until then, it's party on. This musical chairs is going to continue as long as that music keeps playing. Let's keep on going with some of the macro data here today. Interestingly, initial jobless claims had a continued reduction, which is interesting, while at the same time, continued jobless claims remain elevated, meaning that you can interpret this as the bleeding has stopped within the acceleration in the unemployment rate, but the pool of people who are unemployed and are continuously filing for jobless claims that were existing beforehand, so they're no longer initial, they are continuous, that remains accelerating. So definitely a higher level than we saw just 1 year ago. And you can pretty much just take a look at this continued jobless claims to get a feel of how worse the labor market is. Going back 5 years, though, this isn't nearly how bad it was, when it was post-pandemic here during 2021. But as you can see from, the depths of 2022, the continued jobless claims has been accelerating. So that's one thing to continue to take into consideration there. We already took a look at these types of things. I think these were older metrics. Yeah. So that's pretty much what we're seeing today. Continued just decelerating indicators for the real economy. And so when taking a look at the S&P 500 here, we're continuing to see this acceleration on lower volume. Still a great sell some signal. This isn't a signal of playing into your feelings and being like, oh no, I missed out, I need to buy that. Nope, that's the exact opposite of what you want to do here. So for those people who are saying, oh man, I missed the bottom, what the heck? It's like, no, you didn't miss any type of bottom. We are just being patient for this to confirm a stronger trend once volume comes back. Volume has completely dropped off. So, it's just one of those things here. And the market is about to close in the next couple minutes. So yeah, hopefully you have not been feeling any type of emotions and you've just been taking this opportunity in order to take some profits on things that are doing well. And then also for things that have broken trend, you are getting rid of those or consolidating. Not very much of a change from yesterday. Bitcoin finally having a little bit more of a bounce here, but still remaining in a clear bearish trend. And, volume is pretty normal for the week, but still this would need to do a lot more work in order to reclaim its bullish trend. When I was taking a look at some of the on-chain metrics, there were some liquidation zones around like 96 to 98K. So, we could see a continued bounce from here, which, taking a look at previous support and resistance levels, I wouldn't be surprised if this did have a continued bounce up to that $99,000 mark for Bitcoin. That's a whole $10,000 bounce from here. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, even if we get, or specifically if we continue to get a further bounce in net central bank liquidity, which as you can see, that's also had a bounce here. So we want to continue to monitor net central bank liquidity, as that's one of the biggest things that that Bitcoin tends to follow. But yeah, the name of the game here this week is just a continued low volume bounce from the large sell-off that we had the previous couple weeks. Things go up after they go down. Things just don't go down in a straight line. Not all things are created equal, though. We have Mag 7 stocks like Broadcom making new all-time highs. Look at that thing. Just a pretty decent, acceleration there. Walmart as well. Interestingly, Walmart is considered a staple. And so that's interesting, seeing that there. Not surprising, actually, that, it's during the holidays. You could get that holiday boost. NVIDIA semiconductors continue to struggle here, not having too much of a bounce. NVIDIA has lost a pretty decent amount of momentum, strength there. But it's not the, who cares about Nvidia when you have stuff like healthcare here, which is just going absolutely vertical, on track to make new highs, or I think it just closed at a new high here. So yeah, healthcare continues to just be the biggest performer. So yeah, not too many developments or changes from yesterday. For those who are in our macro investing community, we noted yesterday how silver was looking like it was going to have a breakout, and lo and behold, there you go. So you're getting another chance to take some profits on silver as it's near the top end of the trading range. So yeah, nothing really surprising going on. Nothing out of the ordinary. The volatility index of the S&P 500 basically going bearish, which is great for the underlying. And as we've seen over the past few days, or even last week when we were having the correction, we continued to state how we weren't seeing any type of cracks in the credit markets, and that continues to be so. So yeah, there is no disruption from what we've seen so far with the stop-go cycle that we've been in. Dollar providing a little bit of a buying opportunity here. It remains in bullish trend. My team and I have been expressing being long the dollar with the ETF UUP, which is Invesco's dollar index bullish fund. So that provided a little bit of a low end of the trading range opportunity on lower volume. That's what you want to look for. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. Nothing too exciting. Nothing too much where it's like there's a huge opportunity at the low end of the trading range. Energy just went bearish in our model. So, or I'm sorry, neutral. A little bit of a freebie. I was buying some Exxon. Something like this, near the low end of the trading range. Series of higher highs and higher lows. That's what you want to be looking for. So I was buying a bit of that. All right, so that's really what I'm seeing today. We can go ahead and get into some questions here. Could be a more of a shorter show today. The biggest winner so far this week, though, the biggest bounce, I should say, is in home construction. So if you want to take a look at things that were bearish trend that are looking like they are emerging, it would be this ETF right here, ITB. Because that's one of the things that our model does really well, is that when things are transferring from a bearish trend to a bullish trend, those are the types of things that you want to be paying attention to in order to capture the next larger up move. And so, if something like home construction and a lot of these other development types of industries start to do better, then what you want to do is, if it does confirm a bullish trend, that's not really where you would want to make an initial position. You would want to wait for it to confirm. That way, the probabilities of it going higher and you making a position on the next dip is, making your possibilities of success a lot higher than just trying to time and buy bottoms. So when looking at something like this, if we do have another correction from here, you would want to pay attention to what volume, volatility, and some of the other correlations say about that price drop. Because it's not just about price. It's the context in which prices are moving. Just like how if you're talking to someone, you read their body language, you read or listen to their tone inflection, and you get a better sense of the meaning behind the words. Same thing when looking at the prices of charts. It's not just about the prices. It's not just about the words being said. It's about the tone of the words being said. It's about the volume of the price action. It's about the body language. It's about the volatility of the price action, right? All things that we help people understand in our macro investing community, which we still have a few spots left here in our 6-week challenge, although I think there's only 2 spots left. So if you guys want to take advantage of that, we still have that going on here. Almost over though. And yeah, you can just go to the link in the description below for those that are on YouTube. For those that are on TikTok or Instagram, you can just go to the link in my bio there and you can book a time with me and we can go ahead and discuss the challenge. Not too many changes in the yield curve. We continue to see a bull flattening. So again, the real trouble is when this starts accelerating or steepening on higher volatility, as well as widening credit spreads and those types of things, that's when you really need to be cautious of a further drawdown. But we had a pretty large drop in volatility. As we see, it's below 19. And then also too, when looking at the yield curve in white here, it never had a pronounced steepening, breaking this flattening phase. And so as long as this remains flat, these are environments where the markets can continue higher. All right. But again, not all things are created equal. Take note of things that are breaking trend, NVIDIA, things like that, and make sure that you are more so exposed to the assets that are performing well. So that's pretty much what I am seeing here today. We can get into some questions. I appreciate everyone for joining. It helps the algorithm if you hit those likes, shares, subscribes, all that stuff. I was just talking to someone on one of the 6-week challenge calls, and they were like, you know, you need to get your word out more. And I was like, I don't know how to market. I'm not a marketer. You know, I'm an engineer. My brain is very logically based. And so it's hard for me to do the marketing stuff, but trying to get better, trying to spread the word. But I responded to him saying the goal of this isn't to just, blow up and make the biggest newsletter possible. It's really just to help people learn a better way, and all that stuff will happen as a result. Okay. The goal of this is not to just build a huge subscriber base and get people on email marketing chains and all that. It's to first and foremost show people that they don't have to keep guessing, or they don't have to just buy and hold ETFs the whole time and expose themselves to large drawdowns when they happen. You can approach it in a different way in this post-pandemic era. So that's what we are talking about here. All right, let's go ahead and get into some questions. Let's take a look at the chats here. C. Filippo says Google is running Gemini 3 on top of the class. Okay. Silver, take profit or a breakout? Well, it's having a breakout to the top end of the trading range. So when something gets to the top end of the trading range, even if it's bullish or bearish, like you're hitting the red button, right? So let's just zoom in on silver here. Pull up the trading range model indicator, which you'll have access to if you are part of our 6-week challenge. But yeah, so I mean, this closed right at the top end of the trading range. Lesser volume than it was when it was accelerating back between September and October. So yeah, this is a perfect take some profit signal. Even if it goes up from here on Friday, because tomorrow the markets are closed, you just keep on riding it until there's a dip. Donka26 says, is any experience / knowledge required for the 6-week challenge? No, we assume that you're coming in with zero market and zero macro knowledge. So yeah, you don't need any prior experience. Just come with a willingness to learn and you'll do absolutely fine. Silver is showing a cup and handle per IBD. It's about to run. The cup and handle things, those legacy style of charting, those things don't really matter. What matters is the flows. What matters is what volume and volatility are doing. And that's really all that matters. So yeah, I get a kick out of all of those types of names for the chart patterns and stuff like that. Do you think we should take profit? I can't give you direct financial advice, but according to our process, again, when something rallies like this to the top end of the trading range on lower volume, you want to be paying yourself a little bit and not getting greedy. I guess this would be accelerating volume actually, but not a huge amount. All right, let's take a look at some of the TikTok comments. Appreciate everyone for joining. Appreciate the likes and the follows. Got to squint my eyes because the text is small here. What is the difference of different macro community, any different levels there? Yeah, I mean, we have what's called our partnership circle, which is more so for people who want some more direct guidance from our model on exact things that are doing the best given the macro environments. Think of that as like you're on a team, being, fed kind of the workouts, exactly what you need to do, the nutrition, that type of thing. But then we also have our regular membership tier, which is just $15 a month, which you get a weekly update as well as access to the full Sunday macro wrap-ups on the Q&A on the Zoom call there. And so you can just go on our website and take a look at that. But if you're someone who is more serious about the markets and really wants a proven process that's going to help you throughout this next phase and shift in the macro, then I would recommend the challenge because it is free. And you have access to the partnership circle there. Is SoFi still bearish? Yes. Actually, before I say that, let me just make sure. SoFi. Yeah, I mean, I would say it's still bearish, teetering on neutral though, but I mean, it's been just going sideways since September. So it's like, why would you own something that's not even making you money? XLV Healthcare had a down day. Was it a buying opportunity? Well, when you take a look at XLV, it actually didn't have a down day. It was slightly green, but you continue to have this on decelerating volume, so it was a take profit day. Definitely not a buying day, especially when it's near the top end of the trading range like this, or even closed above it even closed above the top end of the trading range there. So yeah, this was definitely not a buying day. If anything, you are taking some profits. Thoughts on Zcash? That's really been the only cryptocurrency that's remained in a strong bull trend. So I haven't been paying attention too much to it, but it does look like it's been consolidating on lower volume. Could be gearing up for another leg. Who knows? But yeah, Zcash has just been a beast among a incredibly bearish crypto market. All right, well, we will go ahead and close it up there. How do you determine a buying day? Well, you have to take a look at our process there because a lot goes into it. But yeah, what's your opinion on alt season? I don't have any opinion on that. There's not. It's bear season in the crypto space. So anyone who's telling you that alt season is about to begin is just trying to, sell you on a subscription service. And there's no process behind it. But all right, we're going to go ahead and call it there. Appreciate everyone for joining. I hope you and your family have a fantastic Thanksgiving celebration because when all is said and done, the market here is great. All this stuff is cool, but at the end of the day, it's all about our family, our relationships, our friends, our loved ones. And the markets are just a tool for us to maintain our purchasing power so that we can protect the loved ones that we're about to go hang out with tomorrow. So make sure that you are taking a step back, thanking God for everything, having that gratitude. I know everyone here does, but thank you to everything that's been happening in your life, especially with the channel here. I appreciate everyone for joining these on a daily basis. I know it's been slow growth, but it's not. I want to make sure that I'm helping at least just one person. That's really all that matters. So thankful for you guys for watching the channel, subscribing. Hopefully we have a great 2026, which I think we will. Lots of awesome changes coming up, and yeah, it's going to be a great year. But very thankful for 2025 and what's to come. But all right, everyone, have a great Thanksgiving, and we will catch you on Friday. We will be back, and maybe not. We'll see. But we'll definitely be back on Sunday for the Sunday macro wrap up. And yeah, we will catch you all there. But bye, everyone. Have a great Thanksgiving. See you later. Bye.